Hello and welcome to the Coop. This is just a quick video on Animal Crossing, giving some helpful hints and tips that I've found in the game. My experience of Animal Crossing is I played Wild World pretty much to death, and I played a bit of New Leaf on someone else's DS, but Wild World is my main experience. I've also been playing this game now since its release. I've put in about 30 hours over the weekend, and I've found some useful hints and tips that I want to show you. Some of these hints and tips you may already know. This is more aimed to someone who is either brand new to Animal Crossing or someone who is maybe played it a little bit but not noticed some of these key features. I'm also going to be covering the main thing that probably a lot of people want to know: how to run away and catch a wasp, because it is extremely hard in this game. Anyway, let's get straight into it. So my first tip is just a really quick one based on how you set up your inventory. Now, when you get further into the game, you'll be able to press up on your D-pad and have a scroll wheel to organise your tools. But until you get there, did you know that you can press left and right on the D-pad to switch between the tools? Now, this can be quite cumbersome when you have more than 2 or 3 tools, which you do get quite quickly. And if you want, you can set up specifically which order you want these to move in. Now, to do this, in your inventory, you can press A and hold an item and drag it. It's the order that you have your items in your inventory is how they will appear on your left and right D-pad. So, for example, I find I use my fishing rod, my net, my ladder, and my vaulting pole the most. So notice that I've got my pole here, and to the left of it is the net, and if you were to keep going backwards around yourself, you've then got the ladder and the pole. So if I press left on the D-pad, there's my net, there's my ladder, there's my pole. So I can very quickly switch between these two because that's how I've set them up. Also, if you didn't know already, from your scroll wheel, if you actually want to change your scroll wheel, you can click on any of these items and say clear favorites, and then you can then say favorite it, and you can choose which one you want to have it in. So if you don't like the default way that it's set up, you can choose which way you want it round. This can be really useful, so you can decide, because I personally find that it's easier to do the tools that are top, down, left and right than it is the angled ones. So you can change them around to your heart's content. This is a really quick tip for you. Whilst you're early in the game, you're going to need a lot of branches for your early game tools. Now, the game is very kind in the sense of, although trees will only give out 3 pieces of wood and its fruit per day, you can get unlimited sticks. So all you need to do to get sticks is walk up to any tree and shake it. Normally, if you keep shaking it, more twigs will fall, a maximum of 3. Sometimes only 1 or 2, so there you go, I got 2 from that one. But then walk up to the next tree and shake it, and it might drop none. If you keep shaking it for a bit, it might drop up to 3. Now, I don't know the exact respawn rate, but these do respawn very quickly. You can go back to this tree. If I shake it, there you go, there's already another twig. So you can always make more tools if you need them. So my next tip is looking at rocks. Now, you've probably already figured out, if you haven't already, that you can hit rocks with tools to get materials. The materials you can get from rocks are either a stone, a piece of clay, a piece of iron, or very rare, a piece of gold. Now, it's very, very important that when you hit rocks, you must continue hitting it until it stops giving out goods. Let me show you what you shouldn't do and then what you should do. So, for example, actually, firstly, before I hit them, I'm going to talk about the best tool. Now, you have lots of tools that you can hit a rock with and it'll work. An axe will work, a shovel will work, and a stone axe will work. I recommend using a stone axe because it's the cheapest tool to replace when it breaks. You don't really want to be using an axe or a shovel because that's going to cost you more materials in the long run. So, with your stone axe out, well, I just put mine back away. This is what you shouldn't do. If I hit this rock now, it's going to drop some clay. Let's go, oh, that's some very nice clay, thank you very much. And then go over here and maybe pick up some coral. Oh, that's very nice, thank you, thank you. And now I go back to this rock and hit it again. That's it. It isn't giving me anything else. That's because as soon as you stop hitting it, it will then stop. Now, this does refresh every day. So if this was a rock on your actual island, the next day after 5 AM your local time, you can hit that rock again for more materials. But I only got 1 piece of material out of that rock. That's not very efficient. Let me show you what you should be doing. There's another rock up here that I prepared earlier. Not really. So instead, you want to keep hitting the rock constantly until it stops spewing out goods. Now, I can tell you that a rock will never give you more than 9 items. Also, be aware that when you hit the rock, every time you hit it, your character is going to move away slightly from the impact. So after every hit, you need to very quickly use your joystick to move closer to the rock. I'm going to demonstrate this now. I'm going to hit it, move forward. Hit it, move forwards. Hit it, move forwards. And I'm going to keep doing this until it all drops out. There you go. And just to show you, if I hit it one more time, it won't do any more. It's also going to break my axe typically at that time, but that's absolutely fine. And now I can pick up all the items. That's the way to get the most efficiency out of a rock. The next tip I'm going to talk about is catching wasps. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have already fell victim to breaking or shaking a tree, a wasp nest falls out, and then you get stung a mere moments later. You've probably tried running away, and that will only work for a certain amount of time. They will catch up to you. Just quickly, if you didn't already know, if you manage to run to a building and click on the door to enter it before the wasps sting you, you will be able to avoid them. But what I'm going to quickly show you is the best technique that I have found to catch these wasps. Now, first things first, if you have a net out already when you shake a tree and a wasp nest comes down, you can swing your net instantly to catch them. But that's too easy. What commonly happens in this game is you probably have your axe out, because you're probably axing to break a tree rather than hitting with your net. And when the wasps then spawn, you've then got to try and fumble around and change to your net and catch them. And that can be very, very hard with the time frame that they have to sting you. So I'm going to quickly talk through the method that you will have to use, and then I will demonstrate it for you. So, first things first, I'm going to have to demonstrate as if they aren't here because I can't tell the wasps to go slowly because I'm recording for YouTube. Let's say that wasps suddenly spawned there. You need to get your net, but when the wasps first spawn, there is about a half-second delay where they don't move. In that time, you need to hold B and sprint. And you need to sprint north. You always need to sprint north, and I'll explain why in a moment. So let's say the wasps have just dropped. You'll sprint for about half a second. As soon as you're done sprinting, you need to very quickly press up on your D-pad to load up your scroll wheel. Now, when your scroll wheel is open, like so, the wasps will pause. There'll still be the sound and the music, it will be very tense, but whilst your scroll wheel is out, the wasps will pause. You can take a deep breath at this point. You then want to change to your net. Now, notice what happens to my character when I change to my net. The character then faces south. This happens wherever you are. If I'm facing east and change to another tool, you'll see you always end up facing south. Now, this is why I run north, because to highlight that again, if the wasp nest just dropped, you sprint north, hit your scroll wheel to pause them, and then press net. Now, because you've run north, the wasps will be chasing you from the south. As soon as you press net, spam A. Spam, whack. And because they will have been chasing you from the south, you will catch them. The reason why this doesn't work in other ways, because let's say I have my axe out right now and the wasps came from here. If I sprinted to the right and then did my wheel, as soon as I press my net, it's going to face me south. I then have to turn left and whack. And in that time, even just trying to turn left, I guarantee the wasps will get you. That is my technique to beat wasps. Now let me go and find a wasp nest somewhere, and hopefully I can demonstrate it without getting stung. Okay. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to run north. Run, scroll wheel. Change to my nets, and swap. Caught him. Works like a charm. Now, the one thing to mention though is if a wasp comes out of a tree like this one, you can't run north. Unfortunately, in that situation, you're going to have to try and run east and do it that way, but it will be much harder. If you can run north, it will work. So, my next tip is around making money, and one of the best ways to make money is selling fruit that isn't from your village. If you don't know this, any fruit you sell from your own village, so let's say your native fruit is apples, if you sell them, you'll get 100 per apple. However, if you sell fruit from another island, you get 500 per fruit, and although you can just trade with your friends for different fruits, the best way to earn money quickly is to plant all the fruits and make a tree farm. So, for example, I've already met up with a lot of my friends and I have managed to obtain all 5 of the main fruits. Apples, pears, cherries, peaches, oranges. What you can then do is plant those trees, and then in a few days they'll become fresh full of fruits and you can harvest them. And then every 2 days you'll have 10 of each tree, so that's 30 fruit every 2 days of each one. 30 fruit will sell for about £40,000, roughly, give or take. I'm not doing the maths quickly now. So you can make a lot of money constantly. Here is my tree farm to show case in point. This, if I remember correctly, this first row here is, I'm pretty sure it's oranges, pears, peaches, apples, and the other one. I can't remember which one it is. But this is what I'd highly recommend you do. Find a space on your map where you can equate for the farm. Find those fruits by either your friends or by using Nook Mile tickets and get them planted. The sooner you do this, the sooner you'll start raking the profit. Now let's get that balloon. So my next little tip I'm going to provide you is the fastest way to make money by farming in Animal Crossing. Now, there is no best spot to be in terms of whether it's the ocean, river, bug catching. There is no one spot to rule them all of where you're most likely to get rarer items to sell for most money. I personally recommend that you find a farming route that you can run. Now, ideally, when you're running between sections to fish farm or whatever, you want to have as little... Oh, that's a nice bug. That'll give me 3 grand already. I missed it. You want to find as little... You want to have as little time running between spots as possible. For example, if I have the ocean to my right and I wanted to go to the river to my left, this time that I'm currently running to that river is basically wasted, because unless I'm lucky enough to find a bug that happens to be flying around, that's time that's wasted. So you ideally want to find a route on your map where, as you are running, you are constantly having a chance to find something to use. For example, if you look down bottom right to my map, what I personally do is I start at where I am right now, my orange marker. I run down this river, then up the entire coast. I then use my ladder and go across that very top river section where I've got loads of flowers for bugs. I then go down all the way along the east coast of the sea, along the south coast, back up to the shop to sell, and repeat. I will quickly do a lap of this now to show you, and in that time I will time lapse this so it will be much quicker, and you'll see that the main point of this is that as I go, I'm not wasting any time looking for bugs and issues, bugs and animals. Here we go. I unfortunately had to stop that run quite quickly because I ran out of inventory space. Silly me for not clearing my inventory first. But you get the gist. Make a route where you have as minimal time running where you haven't got a chance to find something. Once you've got that route, rinse and repeat it. You will find that certain routes will be better during the day or night depending on spawns. Don't forget as well that when it's raining, bugs don't spawn, so you might have to change your route to be only oceans and rivers. And obviously, keep selling it, and if needs be, to change it up, you can always use Nook Miles tickets. So a question I've been asked is, or a phrase I've seen is, there's nothing else I can do for the day, or I've run out of materials, what to do now? What's really, really good about this particular Animal Crossing game is you are not limited by the materials on your island. Yes, if you farm correctly, you can get to a point in your day where all of your trees have been farmed, all of your fossils have been dug up, all of your bugs and fish have been, well, they constantly respawn, but you know what I mean. You get to the point where your island is finished with materials. Maybe all of your rocks have been mined as well. Well, at that point, you can spend Nook Miles. So if you haven't already, if you suddenly realise, oh man, I need 10 more iron, but I can't get it because I've already hit all the rocks on my village, you can go to your ATM like this and go to Redeem Nook Miles. You can then spend 2,000 Nook Miles on a Nook Miles ticket. You can then take that to the Dojo airport and you can fly to a random island. That island will have at least 3 rocks, loads of trees, bugs, and things that you can farm. So you can go to that island and get loads and loads of materials, and you can keep doing this. There's no stop to how many Nook Miles tickets you can buy, and then go to other islands. So it's basically unlimited supplies. The only cost you do have for that is Nook Miles. It does cost 2,000 Nook Miles. Sorry, excuse me, 2,000 Nook Miles per ticket. Now, Nook Miles are quite easy to earn. Now, as you start the game, you will only be able to do Nook Miles by achievements. And what I mean by that is all these little stamps. So for example, if I wanted to earn more, I could catch more bugs here to earn that. Once you have got to a certain point in the game, quite early on, you unlock Nook Miles Plus. You do this once you have paid off your first house. And Nook Miles Plus are daily Nook challenges that you can do, and these replenish. So for example, I've got this one, which is 200 Nook Miles, and it says talk to 3 of your neighbours. It would take me maybe 2 minutes to talk to my 3 neighbours. I'll get 200 Nook Miles, and that instantly gets refreshed with another challenge. There is no limit to how many challenges you can get. Therefore, you can get unlimited Nook Miles each day, which means you can go to unlimited uncharted islands and get unlimited resources. If you get to the point in the day where you feel like there's nothing more you can do, you can farm Nook Miles, farm bells, and therefore the next day you can be ready to pay off your next debt or buy more items. That's what I love about Animal Crossing New Horizons, is just how there is always something to do. One last thing I'd like to talk about, just because it has been requested, is talking about the fastest way to make money. Now, there is one way to make money that you'll see a lot all over the internet, and that's by time skipping or time glitching, whatever you want to call it. Well, I will quickly explain this, but I'm also going to explain why it's not a very good thing to do. So what you can theoretically do is you can put bells in savings at your ATM. When you do that, you will gain interest on them very, very slowly. What you can then do is exit out the game, change the time on your console to a year in the future, load up the game, go to your ATM, and you'd have made loads of money from the savings. You can then pull out those savings and put them in your pocket, and then change your time back to today's date, and voila, you're back at today's date with loads of money. However, one thing this will do is put weeds all over your town, which you don't really want to do. I know it's quite easy to get them up, pick them up, but you know, that's a lot of labour. Who wants to do that in a game like this? Second of all, you cannot time skip to events. So Animal Crossing have made it so that events are time locked. So for example, the first event that comes out on April the 1st, you have to actually be connected to the internet on April 1st for it to download the update and do it. So you can't skip to that. I'd also recommend that time skipping is not a good way of making money. It kind of spoils the whole point of the game. Animal Crossing is more fun because it's a way of just playing a little bit each day, having that... It's the only game I can think of where time isn't a factor. Even games like Stardew Valley, you're limited to, oh my gosh, it's 12 o'clock, I must get to bed. But in this game, you can walk around and do what you want. You can time skip and get loads of money, buy everything, and in a week or two, you'll have everything you want. But then what do you do next? The best way I personally think to find money is to go to, use your 2,000 miles to go to an island, and then from there you can find gold nuggets and some rarer bugs. It's a lot more fun and a lot more fulfilling to earn money. It doesn't take long to earn money if you really try to, and if you want time skip, nothing against you, but I personally think that there are better ways to make money. And there we have it. There's some of my hints and tips for Animal Crossing New Horizons. These are only ones I found in the first 3 days. If I happen to find a handful more hints and tips, I will do a second video later on. I want to say a big thank you to my Twitch chat, specifically Journey, who's given me some of these tips whilst I was recording these tonight. Now, if you want to have a look at my channel, I would normally say at this point, feel free to subscribe, but I will be honest, I am a Dead by Daylight player, and all of my other videos you will see are Dead by Daylight highlights. If you like Dead by Daylight, feel free to subscribe. I cannot guarantee I'm going to be doing more Animal Crossing content, and if I do, I don't know how often it will be. If you really want to see more Animal Crossing content from me, if you really enjoyed this video, spam the comments below and tell me do you want more Animal Crossing content, and I will make some more. Also, if you have any hints and tips yourself that you want to share to the community, please leave them in the comments as well, and I will spread it around. Join the Discord if you'd like to join some more Animal Crossing members. We share lots of fruit and have lots of fun, and we're going to have some parties after this message, so feel free to join the Discord if you want to do that. And also, if you keep watching till the end of the video, you're going to see some funny highlights that I tried and failed recording this video. Thank you very much, and foul play. Now, when you start hitting a rock, you have to continually hit it. Let me demonstrate. If I hit it once... I'm going to have to record that again. I forgot that I still had an apple. Let's go sell this. Oh, that's an emperor butterfly. I want that.
Nope.
Ready, go.
Nope.
Fuck. 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 Yay!